It is a distinct privilege to stand before you today to deliver and present the 2025-2026 budget vote for the Department of Agriculture. This is more than simply a procedural responsibility. It is a defining moment for agriculture in our country. The restructuring of the department, now solely focused on agriculture, following its separation from land reform, rural development, marks the beginning of a more intentional, more focused, and more responsive era in public agricultural policy. Our mission is as urgent as it is important: to build a food system that is inclusive, competitive, sustainable, and above all, which leaves no South African behind. South African agriculture stands at a crossroads. On the one side, we see the extraordinary potential that the agricultural sector has to create jobs, contribute further to GDP growth, strengthen exports, and revitalize rural economies. On the other side, we confront persistent risks: climate shocks, high input costs, biosecurity failures, land degradation, weak infrastructure, and uneven access to market and finances, and of course, international shocks. This morning, we all woke to the news of the letter which President Donald Trump has sent to a number of countries around the world, including South Africa, announcing intentions to persist with a 30% tariff on South African goods and produce exported into the United States from the 1st of August. Whilst we can breathe a sigh of relief that this tariff did not come into effect as it was due to tomorrow, it does give us an opportunity to urgently use the next few weeks to be able to try and negotiate a way forward to prevent this. Whilst not explicit, the announcement would signal the end of the African Growth and Opportunity Act, which gives South Africa's duty-free access to the US for more than 6,000 products, including goods and automobiles, agriculture, and textile industries. The agriculture sector remains particularly exposed in the areas of citrus, wine, nuts, and table grapes. Now more than ever, it highlights the need for urgent reform in South Africa so that we can ensure that our economy meets the requirements of our trading partners around the world. And I look forward to working with Minister Tau and others in the coming weeks to urgently seek a way through this impasse and ensure that we can avoid the 30% tariff for our agricultural sector. But there's also a human reality behind the figures, and this speaks of smallholder farmers locked out of opportunity, of families facing food insecurity, or of veterinary professionals overburdened and under-resourced, and of a nation that far too often reacts to crisis rather than prepares to prevent it. This budget that we table today is designed to change that trajectory. It is grounded in the 2025-2030 strategic plan, which articulates the 7 key strategic priorities which I placed before this House last year. These are, if I may recall them, partnerships for growth, a modern and progressive legislative environment, improving market access, providing effective farmer support, strengthening biosecurity and disaster preparedness, advocacy for a growing sector, and improving food and nutrition security. Now, these are not just catchphrases, they're a call to action and a roadmap to transformation of the sector. In terms of the budget in the 2025-26 financial year, the department has been allocated a budget aligned to 4 core programs. Program 1, Administration. Program 2, Agricultural Production, Biosecurity, and Natural Resource Management. Program 3, Food Security and Support. And Program 4, Economic Development, Trade and Marketing. Each program will be executed with a focus on impact, value for money, reduction of wastage, and intergovernmental coordination. Let me now detail some of these key interventions. Under Programme 1 administration, we cannot talk about delivery until we have built a capable and ethical state. We are busy finalizing a new macro structure after the separation from the Department of Land Reform and Rural Development and streamlining key systems. We're aiming to increase our digital integration from 18% to 30% by 2030. This includes revamping of procurement oversight, reducing the adverse audit findings, and ensuring that every single manager is held accountable for the performance outcomes within their units and departments. A department that promotes food security must be secure itself, secure against waste, inefficiency, and mismanagement, and that must be our first responsibility. Under Programme 2, which deals with agricultural production, biosecurity, and natural resources, Chairperson, we must agree that one of the greatest unseen threats to our sector today is not only climate, but also biosecurity failure. The 2023 avian flu outbreak taught us that. It was not just a health incident. It was a systemic shock to the system. Egg prices skyrocketed, small producers folded, and consumer confidence plummeted. Today, as we also face an outbreak of foot and mouth disease, and we face concerns around swine flu and other livestock diseases. Let me be very clear, biosecurity is not only a veterinary issue. It is a national priority, and it is as important to our future as electricity, roads, water, and sanitation. We're therefore establishing the Biosecurity Council with a whole of society mandate to coordinate public, private, and community responses in a better way. We're launching the National Biosecurity Compact, which is an agreement with clear roles, vaccine stock levels, predetermined outbreak protocols, and infrastructure commitments. We're also deploying 50 animal health technicians to assist with urgent vaccination rollouts. We're prioritizing the containment of the foot and mouth diseases in KwaZulu-Natal and Gauteng with forward and backward tracing. And just this week, we were able to lift the disease management areas in the Eastern Cape and the Limpopo province. And that was largely due to the incredible cooperation we received from farmers, organized agriculture, agricultural bodies, and of course the veterinary services in those provinces and at national. We are strengthening the oversight and capability at Onderstepoort Biological Products to address backlogs and modernize production. And I want to pay a particular thanks to the committee chairperson for their relentless, dogged oversight of that particular facility as well. And I'm convinced that with enough pressure from the ministry and from the portfolio committee, we will see the turnaround at OBP that we all want. We're also expanding the partnerships with the University of Pretoria's National Biosecurity Hub, enhancing surveillance, SPS capacity, as well as graduate training. This will strengthen our ability to manage future outbreaks before they escalate. The Climate Change and Adaptation and Mitigation Plan will improve water use efficiency, promote drought-resistant crops, and reinforce resilience among smallholders and emerging producers. These are the essential survival tools in a rapidly warming climate. Programme 3 deals with food security and support. Now, food security is not an aspirational goal. It is a daily crisis for millions. According to the National Food and Security Survey released by the department last year, only 36.5% of our households are food secure. Nearly 18% experience severe food insecurity. These are not just figures, they're expressions of a child going to bed hungry, of a parent sacrificing meals, of dreams deferred. And to respond, we're implementing the 2024-29 National Food and Nutrition Security Plan, coordinated with health, education, social development, and environment. We'll be scaling up school gardens and community food hubs, as well as encouraging home production. And we are promoting neglected and underutilized species. Over 66,000 farmers have received training, and over 3,000 of our agricultural graduates have been placed through our internship programs. We're in the process of integrating all 11 agricultural colleges into the higher education system to ensure that they become centers of excellence and the hubs of producing the farmers of tomorrow. This is also a budget for youth. As I said at the Biosecurity Summit, the future of agriculture will be decided by the next generation. Not only those who receive the land, but those who study climate-smart techniques, monitor disease outbreaks, and build data systems for traceability. And that is why we're opening up pathways for young people into veterinary science, extension services, agri-tech, and on-farm learning. Let us empower them to build a new kind of agriculture, one rooted in science, community, innovation, and opportunity. Program 4 deals with economic development, trade, and marketing. And we're very proud of our record in this regard. 258 billion rand in agricultural exports in 2024 alone. But this will not continue unless we protect and expand market access. We've also seen how important the agriculture sector is for our GDP, being the largest contributor by sector in the first quarter of this year. And so we will be focusing on not only expanding existing markets, but looking continuously for new markets. Some of the policy interventions that we will have for the 2025-26 years to finalize the Fertilizer and Stock Remedies Act, launch the Agricultural Digital Platform with the FAO, and operationalize the Producer Support Portal. We'll be hosting Agricultural Extension Weeks, reigniting technical support at the farm gate level. Now, no matter how sound our strategy is, we cannot succeed if our institutions themselves are broken. And that is why we're introducing a ministerial oversight framework with biannual performance and audit reviews, improved accountability of all boards within the sector, ensuring alignment with the decadal plan. Consequence management for non-performance has to be essential. Entities like the ARC, OBP, the PPECB, and the NAMC exist to deliver, not just to drift. So, Chairperson, this budget is more than just a set of figures. It is a statement of intent, a commitment to build a new kind of inclusive agriculture, an agriculture that is youth-driven, science-based, climate-smart, and, importantly, inclusive. An agriculture that understands that the farmer in Lebogang or Lesikisiki is just as vital to our food system as the CEO of a global agri-export firm. We are not starting from scratch. We are building on the strengths of a sector that already works, that is already organized, but that is hungry to grow. As President Mandela famously said, and I quote, "After climbing a great hill, one only finds that there are many more hills to climb," unquote. As a department, we are ready. So let's climb together. I'd like to take this opportunity before I close to thank the Portfolio Committee for their vigorous oversight and interactions, and also to thank my Deputy Minister for her endearing and continued support, both in committee but also out in the communities. She is always a constant reminder that the best laid plans of government mean nothing unless they are inculcated at a community level. I'd also like to thank the senior management of the department, the DG and DDGs and his team. I'd like to thank my staff and the ministry for ensuring that by and large we get kept on course. And I'd also like to thank Organized Agriculture, who constantly are a provider of support and advice in the sector. We are very, very lucky as well to be blessed with the best farmers and farm workers in the world. And they really are the envy of all of the international countries that I've traveled to. It is incredible that they are able to compete against heavily subsidized economies in an environment where they are not subsidized, but are still able to come out on top in many sectors. Chairperson, I hereby table the budget vote for the Department of Agriculture. I thank you.